Yo, what is up, everybody? Episode 92 coming at you. That's 92 in a row. Special guest this week. Dirty Yeti is in the house. I see him in the waiting room already. What is up, my dude? We will be getting ready. Yes, he is ready. Yeah, lots of Dirty Yeti fans in the house tonight. Very, very nice. Excellent, excellent. Linz, what's happening? Jazz, what up? Stormico, Zimic. Zimico, Folklore, Slightly Adrift, Stormico Station, Bootleg Toyco, first one in the house tonight. What is up, everybody? Pocket Salsa. We got a little something from Pocket Salsa coming up later. A pre-order that Pocket Salsa is doing. He's offering up something way nice on his new pieces that came out. So we'll take a look at those pretty soon too. Starting tonight, let's just jump right into it, man. So special guest tonight, Dirty Yeti. We're going to look at some recent follows. If you remember, we used to do a lot of stuff where we would take a look at new accounts and just been trying to slowly work those back into the mix here. So we're going to take a look at some of those tonight. We're going to take a look at some of those pieces from Assembly Required. Some of those pieces from Assembly Required. Abe, what is up, man? We're going to take a look at some Assembly Required pieces from One Trick Pony, Figure Fetish, and Kajiki came through with some straight up heat. I don't know if you guys saw that one or not. Very, very limited piece. I believe that him and I are the only ones that actually have one of these ones. So jumping right in, man. Let's get down to business. Dirty Yeti, man. You ready to come in, my dude? Boom. Dirty Yeti in the house. Dylan Clement, what is up? Recollection, what is up? Mark Whitney, what is up? Here we go. Cosmic Evil Toys. Perfect. You know what, man? Bootleg Toyco, that's funny, dude. Cosmic Evil Toys, he's actually on my list tonight for a new account. So that worked out really good. Ocular Caviar, new here. Welcome. Episode 92, Dirty Yeti in the house right now.
Hey, what's going on?
What is up, man? How are you?
I'm well.
Good.
You can hear me all right?
I can hear you just great, man.
Beautiful, beautiful.
So, dude, what is new? I got to be honest, man. I caught up on some Toys on Tap today, and I saw your episode in there, man, but I've been so busy driving it on the phone. Normally, that's my Toys on Tap time.
Yeah.
When I get to kind of go back and kind of see what's going on with the guests on there. But I did listen to your episode yesterday, then finished up today. You are a busy man.
That's an understatement.
So, first of all, for everybody out there, especially everybody watching on the replay, who are you? What do you do? And my biggest question probably is, how would you describe yourself? What category are you going to put yourself into?
So I am Bill Sanchez. I go by Dirty Yeti, the alias Dirty Yeti, and I am essentially an all-around creator. I dabble in as much as possible, and it's never enough. You know, you always want to keep creating and doing more. I paint mainly Sofubi figures, soft vinyl, and I dabble a little bit in the bootleg toy creation, resin. I can cast a little bit. I'm not really excellent at it, but I have fun doing it. Nice. Yeah, and then I have a website. Like I like doing clothing and stuff, t-shirts and hats and stickers and skateboard decks and all that fun stuff, you know. So heavily influenced by the t-shirt community, and always trying to get people to wear my stuff.
There you go, man. Where can they find that stuff at? DirtyYeti.com?
You got it.
Boom, DirtyYeti.com. Go take a look at that store when you have a chance and pick something up.
Yeah, I got a 30% off sale going on right now on all toys too. So
nice, dude.
Yeah.
I've been seeing some of your custom stuff that you put up recently, just in the past week or so, man. There's some phenomenal stuff in there.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, you got it. Besides being an artist, painter, creator, you're a father. You work.
Mm-hmm.
You have a full-time job. So I think you and I were just kind of talking before the show, man, how much of a backseat some of this stuff takes a majority of the
Yeah.
time, right? We have our real life stuff that we have to do, priorities first, family, job, money, bills, and
Yep.
then all this stuff that comes in. Um, if you had all the money wasn't an issue or time wasn't an issue, which one of those would you grab first and say, you know what, man, I'm going to make something happen either with more time or I'm going to throw a lot of money at fill in the blank?
Maybe a little bit of both. I would say time is more important to me though.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not super all about the money. You do need it, you know, in order to do what you got to do, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But no, man, time. I have plenty of stuff to do with the materials and stuff I've built up for, you know, years and years. And yeah, I have a lot to paint still, so I'm good for a while. And then I'm still kind of like working on collabs and stuff with some people. So money is not really a thing where I really absolutely need that right now. But eventually, it's gonna be where, you know, I'm kind of planning out in the mind anyway to put out my own creation like sooner than later, I would say, but no time exactly. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's true, man. And it's crazy how all that stuff is kind of goes hand in hand, right? Like if you had more money, I mean, if you had more time, you'd have more time to create, which would probably
right.
lead to needing more money. And it's just kind of it's weird how it kind of goes hand in hand like that. The piece that you have coming out, is this a vinyl piece?
Um, it may be.
Okay.
There's been talks about it. I'm not going to reveal who I'm kind of talking to and working
Sure.
with yet because it's really not set in stone. But there have been talks with some friends of the community that want to help me out, and it
Nice.
would more than likely be a soft vinyl piece. So yeah, some sofubi or I don't know. I might take it on my own, my very first creation, and just kind of sculpt something and make it out of resin. Who knows?
Yeah. Nice, man. If you guys haven't caught the Toys on Tap interview with Dirty Yeti, how long ago was that? A couple weeks ago?
Uh, that was
Month
man, I
ago,
think
maybe?
that yeah, about a month ago.
About a
Yeah,
month ago. Yeah, if you
yeah,
guys haven't checked that out, definitely check that out. That's a really good hour-long interview with Abe on there, and kind of gets into some of the history of Dirty Yeti and kind of um, where all this stuff kind of came from, man.
yeah.
The other thing I want to get out there, dude, this guy sent 3 giveaways, and he had reached out and said, "Hey, can I send a giveaway?" Ended up sending 3 giveaways, so we have actually 3 giveaways from Dirty Yeti tonight. Thank you for those, dude. That was extremely generous, man. I can't
For
wait to.
sure, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, dude, you got a lot of stuff coming up. I saw, I kind of asked you what we wanted down at the bottom ticker, man, and you started rattling off some stuff, and I did not realize that you were that involved, dude. So, kind of take me back, man. Now, honestly, dude, I've been doing this after your Toys on Tap interview. I heard that you had kind of been doing this specific scene since maybe around 2019-ish is when it sounds like it kind of came into
Yep.
play.
Yeah, you
Um,
got it, man.
yeah, what initially brought you in? Was it the customizing of Safubi? Now, were you already doing that before you came into the scene and just kind of made it public?
No, because you know what's really funny is what really got me into the whole Sofubi thing, honestly, um, was Kid Robot stuff and seeing like the Dunny and the Money figures and stuff like that. But what really kickstarted it was winning my very first lottery on Instagram
Mm,
to be able to buy something. This was like before I knew what the hell a lottery was. I'm like, wait a second, like I won this for free, and I was like, no, you won the opportunity to buy this. I'm like, oh shit, okay. So I was like, okay. So I won it from Black Book Studio in Japan, I think. I believe that's what they're called. They're over in Shibuya, and I won this Kong figure, man, and it's honestly one of the sickest figures I've ever seen. So it got me into it, and it's blank, so I was like, man, I've seen people paint these, but I don't know if I would be good enough to be able to paint this. So I'm gonna keep it blank for I guess, for a while until I decided to paint it. And then it wasn't until like I started realizing that more and more people paint these things up. And I haven't painted it yet, but I bought, some other stuff, some smaller stuff to be able to paint. And like I painted a Ragnar from Last Bastion Studios, and a couple other toys from some other people. I have like a couple of Mark Nagata pieces from Max Toy, and then a couple Magitarius pieces. So,
Nice.
and then of course like the Violence toy stuff. Like I think I saw Abe mention
Yeah.
his tower that he loves. So yeah, I didn't really start painting Sofubi until last year, man. Like realistically, but I was painting like hobby painting, like doing like Warhammer painting and stuff like years before.
Yeah.
And then like painting model kits and stuff like that. So I have been painting for I've actually over 2 decades, but just not that long on Sofubi at all. So
Yeah. Gotcha, man. That's another thing I wanted to ask you about was Warhammer. You went into some really good detail on Toys on Tap about the
yeah.
Warhammer, man. And, not only toy makers, but painters for sure, man. It seems like, God, dude, if you go back through our episodes, there's been a lot of people that mentioned Warhammer. And
Yeah.
that's just, it seems like that was kind of the springboard for a lot of people, especially for really small, custom painted stuff. Um, One thing that I thought was super interesting, man, was that, dude, you are a bootlegger at heart. I mean, the Warhammer pieces, when you start
Yeah.
casting those, I mean, I know the prices of those things are just, especially when you're starting off, you're getting into something and you're thinking, oh, that's cool. And then you buy another one and then you're like, oh man, this is actually slightly expensive.
Yeah.
Um, so you were already into the painting, but then when you started to figure out how to cast and mold, was there any part of you that ever wanted to be like, okay, resin casting and molding is my thing now? Or was that always just kind of like an extra, like, hey, I could probably do this too and save some money?
It was all about fighting the man. Ultimately, I was like, man,
Yeah.
I want to give companies their due, but I'm not gonna break myself to try to buy a couple guys here. I'm not selling them, so I'm just gonna make them myself. And then it kind of turned into like a project, like to see if I could even do it. And the first few creations or casts, I should say, man, they weren't pretty at all. But I mean, the fact that it looked like you know, the shape of what I was aiming for, that was like exciting enough. Like, holy man, and then like I'm popping them out like every 15, 20 minutes. So I'm like, this is like addicting. This is really addicting. And then after a while, like you just start perfecting it. And I have yet to get a gas or a pressure chamber.
Yeah.
So some of my stuff's not the most beautiful. You probably see some bubbles in some of the stuff, even in my giveaways. But I just always did it for fun, man. I didn't really take it too serious, and I definitely wasn't charging a lot for my resin pieces, just because I knew like they weren't anything of super crazy quality. But
Yeah.
yeah, definitely it started with just being rebellious and like wanting to like, I don't really I don't want to pay your prices. So
Yeah.
yeah, yep,
Awesome, man. That's a great start, dude. When I heard that on Toys on Tap, I was like, man, what a great door to walk through.
yeah,
As far as kind of getting into the scene, and then once you get in, you see that, oh man, people are actually customizing everything. Um,
yep.
the So no pressure pot on the resin, and so from what I gather, resin is kind of just like an extra thing, right? Would you classify yourself first and foremost as a painter?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That's like
Yeah.
where I feel most natural at. I actually have like true fun doing it. I know you probably heard in the podcast, like I know there's a lot of guys out here in the resin world and in the Sofubi world. They hate painting their stuff. I absolutely love it, So
Yeah.
some people, they love doing it, and some people just absolutely hate it. I definitely am one of those guys. I like painting it. It's just it's peaceful. It's super fun. It's kind of like putting it together like a jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah, absolutely, man. One thing that also I remember you saying was that kind of your introduction into just color palettes alone, right? And just kind of recognizing a certain color palette. with either a figure or a line or a time period. And you can see that, man, in your, your Last Bastion Studios piece. I mean, a lot of those ones you can see there's like a lot of 80s, 90s colors, pinks, purples, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Is that something that you really try to hit another note on? Like, for example, if you take somebody like Healy made, I mean, that's an obvious one, right? Where he's doing his Raiders and he's basically, it's the same figure, but he's using different paint apps. And then instantly you're going to something else, right? Yes, you see the figure and it is a Raider figure, but the paint scheme may be Joker or He-Man or something like that. Is that something that you really try to hit on? Is there a message usually with your paint apps, or is it just like, hey man, I'm going to make this thing look super sick?
It's purely aesthetics. It's just what's going to pop. What am I feeling right now? What did I grab out of my bin that is just striking to me right now? And also just to keep track into my mind or my mental list of like, I just painted a green guy. I'm not painting another green guy for a while, or I just painted a purple guy, so I kind of want to stay away from purple right now. I don't want to paint everything the same. I don't want to. I have like, I can pretty much show you different techniques and stuff that I do, and you can see the differences in paint applications. I got a whole bunch of toys out in front of me right now that I'm looking at. And it's just like, I don't know if you can honestly tell if it's a Dirty Yeti piece, but it's definitely because I have a little bit of different style on each piece. But it's more than likely just aesthetics, man. No real theme unless it's like, I don't know. I guess unless I really want it to stick, I could honestly say there's a Nagata piece I painted. I wanted that to be like a realistic monster looking dude, which I don't know if you mind me showing it right now.
Absolutely, dude. Go ahead.
So like this Izon right here.
Oh, dude. I ran that one in my story on the show page, dude. That is super sick. Tell me about what you got there.
Yeah, so like I didn't really mean for it to look like that snack Bugles, that's what kind of like the spike turned out to look like. But the green like turned out really sick. So I primed it up. I dry brushed it with a blue foundation, and then I dry brushed it with some light green, and then I used some wash on it. Like the camera's probably not going to do it justice, but there's like so many different layers of depth in this. There's yellow, there's browns, there's orange, there's blue, there's green. So this was more realistic painted. If I was to perceive, or a monster in the streets. And then, like you had mentioned, like Ragnar is a little bit more cartoony, little retro, very, very clean, nothing's really blended on it, there's no blending. So,
man, that is nice.
Yeah, the shell like really popped. A lot of people like the shell, so.
Yeah, dude, that is way nice. Now, when you're doing collabs, are these just pieces that you're buying and then you're painting them, or are you actually working with the artist, or is it a little bit of a mix of both?
Both.
Yeah.
I buy pieces to show my support for the artist. For me, that's really important. It's not Dirty Yeti just coming to you and hoping for a handout. I really strongly believe in I scratch your back, you scratch my back type of ordeal. So you gotta support your artist, man. I'm one of them. Everybody else in here is one of them. So I have no problem dropping some dollars on the creations that these people are popping out, and then I add it to my personal collection anyway. So, and then I get to paint it and show it off forever. And I don't believe I'll ever sell any of my personal collection pieces, but Ragnar's like, I got a few more coming right now from Wes and Chris. So
nice.
And then but like you said, like doing collabs with some of these guys, I had a crowdfunder, or they had a crowdfunder not too long ago, last year, for their luchador guys, and I ended up doing a couple pieces for them, and they like sold out immediately when they opened it up. So
yeah,
it was cool, and the guys like were buying them blindly, like they didn't even know what the paint apps were going to look like. It was completely up to the artist, which was kind of dope. So
yeah, that's sick, man. That was those luchadors. I mean, dang, dude, that's something I would absolutely buy sight unseen.
Yeah,
Well, what a great figure, man. I think the canvas for that is just like unlimited, right? And you can get a really different feel for, I mean, you think about wrestlers and luchadors just in general, and kind of how the different colors and outfits really kind of speak to what kind of character
Sure.
they're trying to push across. So that's awesome, man. Where are you from?
I'm actually right outside of Detroit. I live in a small city called Garden City, but we're like 20 minutes outside of Detroit. So it's easier to say Detroit.
Close enough, right? Man,
Yeah.
I should have worn my Detroit Tigers hat, man.
Yeah. Represent, man.
There you go, dude. So man, so God, you got so much stuff going on, man. So the next thing coming up for you looks like Sewer Showdown, right? Sewer Showdown is coming up in a few weeks. Now for this one, and you don't have to give away any secrets at all.
Yeah.
Is this a paint app on an existing, or is this something that you've created from the ground up?
So I'm looking over at it right now, and I'm like really excited to show everybody what I did. Believe it or not, it was more resin casting that I like to do. I actually don't love resin casting. Like I said, I'm more of a painter,
Sure.
but I can resin cast. Like I guess I could say I have some experience doing it, so it's not terrible when I'm doing it. But I made the piece, and then I have a piece that's already just kind of like a straight boot, and it'll just be painted up differently. So it's a mixture, and without giving too much away, it's kind of like a political piece too. Which
Sure.
I used to do a lot of political artwork, like when I first started doing graphic design and all that stuff. So it's either gonna like be like people really think it's cool or silly or funny, or it's gonna be like people just don't get it and they hate it. So either way, I'm happy about it. So
I mean, and that's art though, right? I mean, so many people are. I think it's funny, man, when you start talking about art and kind of what it is. Some people, want to identify with it right away, and so it speaks to them. Other people are the exact opposite, man. And you go into a gallery or something like that, and you stare at this. You don't know what it is, and it's supposed to take you to this other place and say, "Man, what's the meaning of that? I don't know." I mean, the meaning is whatever your brain makes it,
interprets, right? Exactly,
man. So cool. So is that a oh man,
I'll put it this way. It just needs to be painted. So I have about a month to just paint it, and I'll get it done within probably a couple weeks. So it's kind of a bigger piece than I anticipated, but to cast everything, to sculpt some pieces, to get everything to go together. I think you're gonna like it, man. I think that some people are gonna really dig it. So
nice. Now Sewer Showdown, when that came up, I know you're probably. I'm not going to give away your age. I'm going to say mid to late 30s ish. I'm giving you some giving you a little leeway with the mid, right? So it's but Sewer Showdown with Ninja Turtles, is that something where you saw it right away and were like, I'm in? Turtles. What a great
you know what? You know what really sold it, Brian, for me was obviously Turtles. I mean, who doesn't like Turtles? But it was an online show. I was like, I've never actually done one of those, and if I don't have to drive anywhere and I don't have to pay for any, like a booth or a table, why not? I mean, it works for my schedule too. I mean, I work all day and then I come home and I only get a couple hours with the babies, and then at night is like crunch time for doing what I love to do. So it just worked better for schedule. Actually, I wouldn't mind doing more online shows. So
amen to that, dude. I mean, I think we've talked on this show so many times about the benefits of online shows. And again, I think this is another one where it's very divided, where you have some people say, why waste your time with something like that? And this is something that was born in 2020, and it was just kind of because no one can go anywhere. But then when you look at it as a whole and you say, man, these other artists from around the world, it's exactly what you just said, man. What a great way to get your work out there and have hundreds, possibly thousands of people looking at it without having to go to a gallery or fly in from somewhere. How many online shows have you been a part of now?
This is my first one.
Oh, awesome, dude.
Yeah. So actually, I was like just texting Dimension X last night, and I was like, bro, I'm not gonna lie, I've never done this before. It's like, how do we do payment? Am I sending this piece to you? Like, what are we doing here? he's like,
Yeah.
you pretty much do whatever you want, man. You can sell it if you want. You don't have to sell it. And then
Yeah.
you could, shipping is up to you, but it's pretty much the ball's in your court. I'm like, okay. I mean, it's really painless. So absolutely, man.
That's cool, man. Dennis S says you have some cool stuff in your store. That's all facts. You guys get over there and check out Dirty Yeti store. There's a link in his bio. There's stickers, there's shirts, there's sweatshirts, there's pieces. Get in there and check it out when you guys have a chance. Dude, so let's talk about just kind of, because I think, before the show, you and I were kind of talking about being a parent and kind of just this being something that is extra and that we wish we had more time to do. Now, you said that your kind of go-to time is late night, man. And I think that's probably what a lot of us are doing is we find, little corners of time to do, but it's really after whatever else is going on in your life, right?
Yeah.
How is that working with you and family time and stuff like that, man? Are they just like, yes, go for it, Dad. We want to see what you're doing. I know your kids are younger. Do they even understand what's going on yet?
Yeah. More than you'd think for a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old.
Sure.
They actually love the little figures I bring in here, and my wife absolutely supports me, but she also snickers and like, man, here's more toys coming in the house, But no, man, I got a great support system. My parents are really, really dope. They're hyped about everything I'm doing. They support me more than most parents, I would say. So, no, it's great, man. Like you said, finding the time to do it. I scrape together hours out of the day, and with all of that, working full time, having a family, having to come home, eat your food, put the kids to bed, say what's up to the missus, and it's like you got to give something up, right? And for me, it's sleep. I really truly only sleep, and I'm not lying. It's probably about 2 to 3 hours a day. So, but I'm okay. So, I mean, you might be dozing a little bit sometimes during the day, but it is what it is, man. I mean,
that's it, man. You just push through, dude. And that's one of those things where I always think I can always catch up on sleep. You know what I mean?
I sleep when I die, bro. I'll sleep when I die, man.
But what
and hopefully it doesn't put me in an early grave, but
no kidding, man. You know what, dude? That's so funny. It's like some people say that not getting a lot of sleep is like horrendous for your health. And I've heard the stories and I've seen the studies and all that stuff. But then you have this other school of thought where people are saying, no, what you're talking about, 2 to 3 to 4 hours is optimal. You know what I mean? Is saying like that's all you really need. And to keep your brain in this kind of state of creation and stuff. It's kind of odd, man. But I think that's funny too, because I always think the same thing. I can always catch up on sleep, but then I don't realize that, well, to catch up on sleep, you really need to have an extra lot of time. And that is something that I don't have and that I can't really create on my own. That portion for you, man, do you see now as you're getting more and more, let's back up a little bit. Would you say that you're getting more and more involved as time goes on? Or are you kind of like, you kind of found a home and you're thinking, well, I have a piece that I'm working on. I'll finish this one and I'll get to the other one in due time. I know with the online shows, you're under the gun, man. So how are you making that work with deadlines?
You know what? It's really weird. It's like a catch-22. As most creators, they don't like deadlines. Don't tell me when to get my piece done. Don't tell me what to do. Otherwise, I'm not going to want to do it.
Absolutely.
I really like deadlines. As a creator, because I like to know when it's time to really get up. I like to procrastinate until the last minute, and then get most of my stuff done. But when it comes to like doing anything toy related or painting, I'm actually very quick at it as far as turnaround time. So if like somebody sends me a piece, I like to get it done. The socials helps me want to show it off a little bit, and makes you happy, gives you that smile on your face when people like it. So it's like it's kind of a win-win for me. I get to paint toys, make other people happy, maybe make a few bucks here and there, and then the people are like, "Oh, bro, that piece is dope. Like that's fire, man. I gotta have that piece." I've had a lot of people reach out to me for some of my personal collection stuff. It's like I won't sell it. I mean,
yeah,
I'll put it at an exorbitant amount of money, and there's no way you're gonna pay it. So,
That's
But
funny.
yeah, man, it's I don't know. It's crazy to think that, you know, I'm just painting right now. I have crazy ideas to like create and sculpt and do stuff like that. But like you said, time's a factor right now. So
Yeah,
time, I mean, it doesn't cost much to buy some monster clay and start sculpting something up, but I just
yeah.
don't really have a whole lot of time to be able to do that right now. So
Yeah, man, I think that's the big factor probably for everybody, man. I mean, if there was 34 hours in a day instead of 24, I think we'd all be a little bit further along in the creative process. But that's cool, man. At least you're sticking with it.
yeah,
Uh, the violence toy piece that Abe was talking about, that thing was massive, dude. How long did that take you to actually? How did that one come about? Is that just something that you bought from Violence Toy? I know they had a screaming. I'm actually looking at some Violence Toy pieces in front
yeah.
of you. And the first thing that comes to mind is, man, those were dirt cheap, dude. That's crazy.
They still are. I don't know what's going on. Like I was like talking to a few of my homies. I'm like, bro, are they going out of business? Like, what's happening here? Like, because they've been running the sale for like I don't know half a year now. At least that I could tell, maybe even longer. But
Yeah,
no, man, I saw it. I'm just looking for canvas, aka blanks, one day, and I'm like scoping around the community, and I'm like, I could buy this piece from this guy. I could buy this piece from these people. But I was like, man, I need like a bulk. Like, I need some blanks, man. And so like
yeah,
I don't know how I stumbled upon Violence Toy, but I saw it and I couldn't get over the prices. I'm like, bro, I maxed out a credit card just to like get as many pieces as I could, and then just knowing that I would just flip them. So it's it's incredible. They're who's ever sculpting their pieces they're really really talented, and they have a lot of great packaging to go with their pieces, which are really hype too. So. Um, but yeah, Violence Toys they're still like on sale. So, um, but they're hopefully not going out of business, and hopefully they'll
yeah.
just be coming out with more stuff. Maybe that they're just trying to offload what they have. I don't really know, but yeah, man, I'm always on the lookout for blanks and stuff like that, and just something to paint, and more than likely I try to flip them. So
Yeah. Now, if let's just say, because I know there is, me being one of them,
mhm.
people who have vinyl blanks or even resin blanks for that matter.
Yeah,
If somebody wanted you to paint one, how would they go about doing that?
hit me up, DM me.
Nice.
Uh, Leave a comment on one of my piece, whatever. Hit me up. I'll do it. Resin doesn't scare me to paint. Nothing scares me to paint. Um, the only caveat with that, which it's I gotta put like a little disclaimer when I sell a piece is I don't have the Wonder vinyl paint from Wonder
Sure.
Goblin. He
Sure.
does a phenomenal job. The dude is super talented, and he's a god in my eyes within this community. But I have never airbrushed in my life, so I just hand bristle
Wow.
brush everything. Everything is done with by hand. And that's not taking away anything from anybody, that airbrushes. I've just never done it. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah. That said, I will hand brush everything, and I pretty much prime everything, which is not a problem. That I mean, you could prime literally anything and throw paint on it. So, yeah, resin is not a problem. Vinyl's not a problem. If you give me a piece of wood, I could do it. It doesn't matter. So, that said, though, the caveat again, like I said, was you're not going to be able to articulate it as much.
Right.
It's it's an art piece anyway. It's an art toy anyway. I don't know how many of us are taking it in the bathtub. I mean, there might be some people that do that, but this is going on a shelf. It's getting packaged up, going on a shelf, and it's going to look pretty for the rest of its life. So I mean, that's the catch with doing that, because I put like an archival Liquitex gloss over every piece, or matte finish over every piece. So depending on what I
Yeah.
choose, but it looks real pretty, and it's all perfect for against the sun, against the UV rays, and it's waterproof. But you're not going to like really be able to like articulate it or play with it like. And I
Yeah.
heard you say your last show was like articulation's overrated anyway. So I'm like, yeah, it is.
Bro, that's the vomiting droids mantra right there, man. Um, and for me, it really comes down to, when I'm trying to not necessarily collect, but display, right? When
Mhm.
I'm thinking of display, um, you're not seeing this figure in motion. You're seeing it, displayed. So
Exactly.
whether it stands or sits or can bend its arm, sometimes it matters, sometimes it doesn't. To me, it doesn't matter. I think that the piece is what it is, and if it's, I mean, I have a shitload. I mean, look at this one, dude. This is from Figure Fetish, and that was
Yeah. Oh yeah, you just posted that.
I just posted this one, but non-articulated. You know what I mean? This is just one solid piece.
That Oni face is really dope, man. I love that piece.
Isn't that sick? You know what's really cool?
Yeah.
Look at the hands. He put ET hands on there.
That's great, man.
And I know, with resin casting, dude, I don't do any of that. But when I hear people talking about it, especially people that are just kind of getting into it, they always talk about, fingers and horns and stuff like that are just a total bitch, man, to get them to come out right. But Jason did a fantastic job, man. That dude's super rad.
Yeah.
So going on to the next one. Well, actually, dude, let's talk about your priming, because I know that is something that is not specific to anybody really. Sometimes you don't hear of people priming. They're just laying the paint on or airbrushing it on.
Yeah.
What's the purpose for, or a better question would be, how did you come up with the priming, and why is that a method that you choose to use?
So when you're painting with acrylic paints, you have to have a little bit of tooth, aka bite, or something to grab onto.
Sure.
I could paint a vinyl toy all day with the acrylic paints I use, and you're not going to get anywhere with it. It'll be very translucent, and you're going to see all the lines, and it's not going to be very pretty. So I guess what I would say is turning toys into miniature statues. So that's what they literally become. They just I know they're not going to move afterward, and they're gonna take on any paint after I prime it. I use the Rust-Oleum Painter's Touch. It's like a primer paint mix, white, gray, black, whatever you want, depending on what color palette you use. And then go to town on it, man. But they're toys, but like I put them up on a shelf like statues. So, and I paint them like they're statues, And I had like this crazy 3D printing run for a while. I bought like 3 printers, and I was printing everything on this planet that I could. And I started printing out like some Marvel like dioramas or like busts and stuff like that. And I was like, man, these are really, really cool. So it's like the same thing. These guys don't move, but they look epic. It's a statue essentially, or a statuette. So
yeah, straight up, man. And that's exactly it, dude. You can take something that's articulated, and then just kind of seal it up, with the paint, and still get that same look. I mean, you don't necessarily have to articulate it to make it
right,
to make it cool. But 1 second, I got an alert that popped up. I don't know what that is. Yeah, cool. So the Sasquatch show that's coming up was that a Dirty Yeti mug?
I wish. No. I have one of my stickers on my mug.
That's sick. What a great idea, dude. I do that with a lot of my coffee mugs, and they seem to stand up in the washer too, in the which is cool. The Sasquatch show that you have coming up from ETC, the Space Squatch. Dude, that one, I mean, the Space Squatch, I'm sure you've been following it. It's been coming out for a while now. There was a version 1. I believe this is a version 2, maybe.
Yep.
Is that a piece that you had originally, or is this something, or how did that work with the show? Did everybody get one of those, or?
Yeah, ultimately, I believe everybody got at least one.
Okay.
And then like Tim was like selling the other pieces. I guess I maybe that's how he did it. And I think there's some people that are putting in multiple pieces. I just have the one piece going in. But you just paint it up and ship it to the to Toy du Jour. So and this is version 2, like you said. So it's taller. I'm not really familiar with all the differences. I know it's bigger than the first one, because I never owned a Space Squatch. So, but they're really, really cool pieces. So,
yeah, pretty slick, man. I think I want to say that Baba Drock I don't know if you follow him or not, man. He's a
Hmm.
great account. Yeah, what a great dude, man. He's in the Pacific
Yeah.
Northwest and been kind of quiet lately, but I think he had something to do with the original sculpt. Speaking of sculpting, man, I think I want to say that I did hear it in the Toys on Tap interview too, but let's go back a little bit. You did mention 3D printing
Hmm.
and how you were really into that. You said you bought 3 printers at one time. What was the goal when you thought about 3D printing? And are you a 3D sculptor?
Um, I wanted to make free toys for myself, essentially.
Mm, yeah,
It was, I actually had no business plan when I was doing it. I wanted to just make stuff quicker because they're FDM slow, printers, and they're cheap, but they do the job. And I wanted to just have stuff for free. I mean, it's you buy the spool of material and you don't have to shell out any more money for it. So, um, but you get it down to a science and you start printing out some really sick pieces. There's some really great designers out there. The 3D design thing is something I really have been slowly creeping into.
yeah,
Um, like I was trying to like do a couple free programs on my phone, and then I moved on to a tablet, and then I started playing around with a little bit more. And I'm using a couple programs right now, but like this was like my first creation on the printers. I just made this on my phone one afternoon and started making like these hype little ghosts for like my Ghostbuster collection.
oh, nice, very
Because like I
nice.
didn't have a lot of the ghosts with them, and I was like, well, I'm just gonna like make a ghost that resembles Slimer kind of, and
Yeah,
and then I don't know, I was gonna make some header cards, and I was gonna throw them in a bag, and I was gonna start selling them, and so I never did all that, but it was still fun to make. They didn't come out beautiful, but they came out decent.
yeah,
Um, but I would like to push more for doing 3D design like that. I think that's really cool. I I think I may be able to do it. I don't know. Like it takes a lot of talent. I'm not sculpted a whole lot in my life, but sculpting is completely different than drawing something or painting something. So
yeah, dude, straight up, right? So you have sculpting with actual pliable material, and then you have 3D sculpting, man, which is just kind of a whole thing on its own. I don't know if you saw the episode a few weeks ago, but I had killer napkins on there,
hmm
and this
yeah,
dude was sculpting in VR, and
it, it,
I got.
it's insane. Yeah.
Isn't that wild, dude? Isn't that crazy, man? And what I think is really funny is that I think when 3D printing came out and 3D sculpting came out, at least when it came available to, when I first started hearing about it, you kind of hear what everybody's kind of talking about. And it seemed to me like everybody was saying, oh, it's a shortcut. It's a shortcut for doing all the stuff. And then you start really looking at the process
hmm
and how you make an original deal and you're 3D actually sculpting. It's just in 3D digitally. Um, that takes a lot of talent as well, man.
hmm
How has the learning curve been for you on that? Is that something where you're like, wow, man, this is way like I need some serious knowledge in this, or did you feel comfortable with it and say, yeah, I could probably tackle this?
No, I mean, there's not been a program that even like the free, cheapy ones on your iPhone that you could download for free. There's not been a program that has been so intuitive and so like I can just pick this up just like Microsoft Paint and just start making a picture. Now, you
Sure.
still have to really know like the tools and how things work and the complexities of just a 3D object. I mean, when you sculpt it, it's completely different than when you like throw it on a memory card and then try to go print it. It may just completely just mess up, and you have to really understand how it's going to print. So the people that are like designing this stuff on like Thingiverse that are like insane designers, these guys they're
Yeah.
incredible. And then they have it down to like you're going to print these parts specifically and they're all going to fit beautifully together like a Gundam, and it's crazy,
Right.
dude. Like, and they're doing this for free. It's crazy. So um I would say that I'm actually going back to the old clay and fingers and tools. That's I'm doing that first, man. I
Yeah.
the computer stuff is cool, and I definitely will revisit it. But no, for like my very first creation that I want to kind of do, like I didn't really tell anybody this, but I'm trying to start to get into like rotocasting. So
Mm.
I could like I have the casting and silicone mold making kind of experience. So the rotocasting is something that I've kind of been studying a little bit lately, and I was going to try to do that, but I have to sculpt something first. So I bought a bunch of clay recently, and I was just gonna try to sculpt something and then attempt like a rotocast, like silicone mold, and then see where it goes, man. We'll see.
Yeah, that's cool, man. And I'm sure you've seen it too, but I've seen it so many different ways of people trying to do their own type of rotocasting,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's doing it in their hands and just not
Yep.
stopping, or building a machine where you're just kind of keeping this thing going. Dude, speaking of 3D printing, I don't know, I can't remember whose account it was. Maybe you saw it too. There was somebody that was building like a giant, I want to say it was a Lego piece, and they were like 70 hours into this build and it fucked up. So it's like you get 70 hours into it, then what do you do with that, dude? Like that's crazy,
very
man.
common. I mean, that's common, man. I mean, I
Yeah.
would have. I mean, 70 hours is a long time. I had some pieces like at 40 hour prints, 50-hour prints. I'd come home like on the like last or final day of printing. I'd come home from work and I got a bird's nest. I'm like, are you
Oh,
kidding me? Like I got to restart everything, man. So
yeah.
material's not that much for FDM printers. I mean, a spool is
Mhm.
like anywhere from like $18 to like $25. It's not bad.
Oh, nice.
But when you waste it all like that, and then your nozzles are getting hot, and your system's running, and you're putting wear and tear on everything, and it's not getting anywhere. It's really frustrating. It's really frustrating. So
Yeah, I could see that, man. I think there's a little hiccup with everything. Bootleg Toyco, he had, I know he's in the chat, man. And that dude, I don't know if you've worked with him or chatted with him at all, man, but that guy has,
I love his
he's
work, man. I love Bootleg Toyco's work.
straight up, dude. He's got that 3D printing game on lock, dude.
Yeah.
The Lens the Rat Boy connection there too. That's something that we always talk about on the show and how cool that is. But
Yeah.
yeah, as far as figures and pumping them out, and he does his own paint stuff too. But dude, just great original pieces, man. I think that's
Mhm.
super super sick. Speaking of collecting, so would you consider yourself? Would you, if someone says, "Hey, do you collect anything?" Would you say that you're a collector?
Oh yeah, big time.
Awesome.
As far as indie toys though, I'm just kind of getting started within the last few years. I don't really have a whole lot of indie toy collections. I
Yeah.
will say I got these guys out right now. Muscaloids, man. I
Oh,
love these dudes.
bro, those are sick.
This is like they're putting out gold. They put out straight gold. This is my favorite dude right here.
That's awesome, man.
It's just amazing. The metal swords that they come with, and just the work that they put into everything. Yeah, I love it. So I try to get a few of these a year and build my collection. There's so many people that I want to buy from, man. Like I'm talking to like homies every day, and I'm like, man, I want to like buy something from everybody. I just,
Yeah.
you can't. How can you? So you try to find the people that you want, and then you talk to them, and you're like, okay, so when I get some cash up, I'll get something from you. But definitely love the community, man, and trying to support everybody. I wish I was like, sometimes I wish I was a millionaire. I just buy everybody's stuff and have a huge room or museum dedicated to like indie toys. But like,
Hey,
you got a huge collection behind you, man.
I was gonna say, brother, be careful what you wish for, man. It is very cool to look at, but when you start getting into the details of it, it's somewhat of a pleasant nightmare sometimes. But
Mm-hmm.
Musculoids is dope, man. I don't know if you ever talked to Resin Blood. If you're interested in Musculoids,
Resin
Eddie,
Blood's insane too, man. He puts
yeah,
out amazing. I mean, actually, I'm more. His pieces are great. Like I love his figures, but I'm more interested in his paintings. I love his halftone paintings that he's been doing lately. So
bro, straight up, man.
yeah.
The painting, dude, Eddie is such an incredible artist, man. You say I mean, you could say he's a toy maker, but it's just
Mm-hmm.
it's so much more than that, dude. And I think that, I think you're well on your way to that exact same path, man, where you have, you know, you're kind of dabbling in a bunch of different things, man. And
Mm-hmm.
that shows a lot of skill, dude. We've talked about 3D printing, we've talked about painting, we've talked about
Mm-hmm.
resin casting. Um, it's a lot. It's a lot of stuff going on, man. So getting back to you being a collector, besides indie toys, what would you say is your go-to? I think I have a pretty good idea from your Toys on Tap
Yeah, yeah.
review. Yeah,
Anything from childhood. You get that nostalgia bug, and you're like, man, I really miss being a kid. So obviously, Turtles, anything Playmates. I love Dick Tracy. I love Mighty Max. Micro Machines. Any He-Man, of course. Motu's fantastic. Mask. Mask toys are cool. Ghostbusters, all that stuff, man. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody's got that stuff. But Starcom too. I like Starcom a lot.
Dude, yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
ask you about Starcom, man.
Yeah.
That's a rare one, dude. And when I heard you, I actually had to rewind it on Toys on Tap on Drive.
You're like, what?
You're kind of spacing out. You said Starcom. And then I'm like, wait, did he say Starcom? I'm like, wow, I haven't heard that in a long time. Mighty Max too, dude. And Abe, if you're watching, I disagree with your hot take, dude. Mighty Max is not a throwaway toy, Abe. Don't you ever say that again.
He did say that, and you know what? I stayed up that night crying myself to sleep. But no, man, you know what? I understand. I mean, because he's only 3 years younger than me, but
right.
I don't know, man. I took it as like, it was like you could take that toy anywhere, and you had the whole playset with you in your pocket. I think that's dope. I think toys like that, where it's all inclusive. Matter of fact, I mean, I thought about making a toy that way, and just making like a mini, but I don't know. I mean, it's cool. I think who was it that made those? It was like the John Wick pieces, like the little people in the car.
Aren't those so dope? Grayskull Toys and Massive Mini Horse was a collab on that.
That's what, Massive Mini, man. That I loved it. That was so cool.
I bought 2 of them, dude. One for
Did
me,
you?
and one for me and one for my son, just because we really love those movies. But you're right, dude. Those were really done super, super well with the packaging.
Mm-hmm.
And then the figures themselves, and then the car with it too.
Yeah, the car was what sold me, dude. I was like, this is amazing.
The little pool of resin blood. I mean, what a great little package that was, man. That's a cool one.
Yeah.
So you got the Space Squatch show coming up. You got the Sewer Showdown coming up. You got a collab coming up, Last Bastion Studios. What's going on with that one?
Yeah, so just been broing it up with those guys for a while. Wes and Chris are really cool dudes, man, and they'll talk your ear off if you let them. And they're willing to work with anybody, that's got motivation or has some ideas. So nothing set in stone right now, and I can't really say. Well, sure. I wouldn't feel safe to say what I am going to be potentially working on, but I will say this: it's luchador stuff. But I can't say like what it's going to lead into. It's going to be something different that Wes is writing and all that stuff. So, but like the comic is insane. I don't know if you read the first chapter, but it's fantastic.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
So besides the shows, I mean, I'm sure you're working on that stuff. I'm sure that's taking up a lot of your time. What about personal projects for you besides the shows, man? What's you got anything cooking over there? I know you do.
I'm surprised you asked me that, man. So there's something I haven't told anybody, and I'm literally well, we talked a little bit about me creating my own sofubi or resin, got that, that's whatever. I mean, anybody can probably do that. So, but no, man, I'm only going to leave it at, I'm going to be a little, elusive about this, but sure. It's called Project Lunar, and I've already been writing for it. It's been in my mind since I would say a year and a half ago. And I'm just going to call it Project Lunar, and you're going to find out, hopefully, if I can play my cards right and not stay too busy, this fall, hopefully.
Nice.
And I'm just going to say that.
Nice, dude. So we don't have to go into any detail about that, but how the heck do you find time to do everything that we've talked about and then kind of dip back in and just, keep this thing going, man? Is this something that you're having to set time aside for besides the pieces, or do you just set aside, like, for me, my kids are a little bit older now. They're 19 and 16. So there's not a lot of that, like, set times, right? You know what I mean? They can put themselves to bed and they can, stuff like that. But when you create some time for yourself, or when that time is available, are you saying, hey, I need to focus 100% on my Sewer Showdown piece? Or are you saying, you know what, I really need to, with the Lunar piece or the Lunar project, I need to kind of dip back into that just to kind of keep it going?
Yeah, so I have really bad ADHD, and it's weird because I'm medicated now. Like, I take prescription for it, but I can multitask like a mother. And I like when I'm priming something and it's got to dry, next project I'm working on right now, and it's just chipping away at it. So I'll paint these dudes up, or I'll glue this piece on this guy, or I'll use some green stuff and roll it around and sculpt this piece for this guy. It's just chipping away at it one by one. I'm not kidding. You could ask my wife. Like, I've worked on like 4 or 5 projects at once within this past week. I'm like, I'm all over the damn place, man. And mix that in with just literally getting 2 to 4 hours of sleep a day. I mean, so I don't know, man. And it's cool to be able to do that, but we'll see. I mean, I try not to let my quality suffer, you know, with the stuff I'm doing. Yeah. Hopefully nobody gets a piece and it's like, oh, that's all right. You know, I try to go over and beyond when I'm painting stuff, which I was going to show you this really quick. I sculpted this because I was too cheap to buy these Hedora pieces. Like Hedora, I don't know if you've ever bought Hedora pieces, like the vinyl. They're freaking expensive for how, like, they're dinky, they're little, and they're cool. But like, I wanted like a big Hedora, so like I sculpted this like months ago and then painted it. And dude, I'm a big dude. Like, I weigh 275. Look at this thing.
Wow, dude, that is nuts.
It's a monster, man. It's a monster.
Wow. Now, is this a piece that you bought and painted? Is that what you said?
No, I sculpted this.
Oh, you sculpted that?
Yeah, this is at the very core of this is a giant aluminum foil ball that looked like a dead cat wrapped up in aluminum foil. And then I just used some polymer clay, some Sculpey, Super Sculpey.
Wow.
And then of course did the old paint apps on it. But yeah,
that is impressive.
But like this is a Hedora piece, man. Like, I don't know what people are doing. Like, I don't know what these, you know.
Yeah.
Toho's putting out these little pieces. Like, it's all right, but make some big pieces. I like big pieces, bro. Like, I just picked up this. Man, this is sought after for a while. Like, I said 4 years. I think it might even been 5 years. King Nawab from Planet X Asia, bro. This thing is like 14-inch, like tall. This thing is massive. I don't know if I'm gonna paint it. It's too big. It's really pretty. It's got like glitter and it's translucent. But if I do paint it, it's gonna be like one of the best paint jobs I've ever tried to attempt. So
yeah, wow, dude, that is. And where did that one come from?
Man, the community's amazing. I did not get it directly from the designer. Years ago, I tried to, and there was like a miscommunication thing going on, so I couldn't get a piece, and they sold out. And I went and perused the community like literally a month ago, and was like, did a search on Instagram for King Nawab, and I was like, I gotta find somebody that has a blank. I need this piece. I need to have this.
Yeah.
And found through Instagram some of the pieces and some of the artists that painted phenomenal paint jobs on these things. And then, you know, one thing leads to another. I'm like, yo, would you know how I could find one of these? Would you have an extra one? Do you have any way? Like, I'm pretty much willing to pay almost whatever. I mean, I really need to have this piece. And met this couple really cool dudes that were willing to take the time to talk to me. And the one guy, I hope I don't get his name wrong. I don't know if he watches this, but Creature Maker, I think.
Oh yeah,
dude. That guy is so freaking just generous and super genuine. Very nice guy. He sold me a piece, dude, and you know he got it. I think he bought it because it's like a rare colorway, that one, and he bought it at like from somebody secondhand and paid, you know, a pretty agreeable price, and then sold it to me for the exact same. He didn't try to upcharge me. He didn't try to screw me over. He just like, yeah, man, let's give it to you for what I paid for it. I was like, absolutely. So he helped me out, man. And it's just like, that's what I love about this community is everybody's trying to look out for people. And he was a super cool dude to work with. I got a little nervous at first. I was like, I just realized I sent a lot of money to somebody I don't know, and you haven't shipped it yet. Yeah. And I'm a little nervous. I'm not saying you're not, but I've been screwed over in the past. And he's just laughing at me. He's like, bro, I'm at the post office right now getting ready to ship it. And he sends me a picture. I'm like, oh, okay, good. I'm like, I'm so sorry, man. I realized I just gave like somebody, you know, hundreds of dollars of my money that I don't know, and I don't know if I'm gonna really get a piece out of it. He's like,
Yeah.
nah, man. He's like, if you try to work with anybody from the Sofubi community, he's like, most people aren't gonna try to screw you over. You know, we all try to help each other out. So I thought that was really genuine. That was really cool.
Yeah, that's dope, man. And Creature Maker, man, you landed on a good one right there, man. I have several Creature Maker pieces, man, and they're always legit. They're always really good work. I've never had a problem with that dude at all. Cool, man. So we got let's talk about some of these giveaways real quick. We got a few to give away, but just by looking at them, man, I know that there's a story behind each of them, especially this one here. We were kind of talking about your dive into the resin game, man. And this Luke Leaf slider from Snail Wars, Power of the Shell, man. This is your first resin. Yeah. Maybe not this specific one, but this is your first.
This specific one is the actual first one I ever made.
There you go.
And nice. I kept him because he didn't turn out pretty. I kept him, but yeah, I wanted to make a bootleg, and I wanted to it was my first attempt, and I wasn't extremely crafty at it yet. So I was like, I'm just going to swap ahead and think of a character name and kind of, play on words with Luke, Skywalker, but turn him into Luke Leaf Slider because he's a snail head.
Right.
Or a snail. So yeah. Made the backer. I mean, I just printed out like a giant sticker and just put it on like a mat board and then just cut it out. So nice. that was the quickest, most easiest way I could figure that out because I didn't know how to make backers. I had no clue how people did their stuff. I was like, oh, and this was like way before I got really hard into the community. So I just printed out I think it's like an 8x10 sticker or something like that, and I just slapped it on a mat board and cut the mat board out. I mean, it works. I mean, it's pretty solid. So.
Dude, it's very solid. I was just gonna say it's really thick. I don't know if you can, kind of the mill on that, but it's thick, man. It's solid, dude. That is not bending.
So at the time, I worked at a art restoration company, and we had endless amounts of mat boards. So I was like, hell yeah, man, let's grab some of this stuff, and we're just gonna throw it out anyway. So the mat board is a pretty cool backer material for sure.
Yeah, awesome. I like the little warning here. Product may produce snail trail. So if you end up winning,
man, this dangerous.
Yeah. Now this resin carded figure, man, when you were done with this, what was your initial take? When you looked at that, were you like, okay, this is something I want to keep doing? Or were you just like, that's kind of cool?
So a funny story about that piece that you're holding right there, and then all the other ones I sold, or I still have a couple more. Actually, I got one right here, which the color is pretty cool. It's the purple and translucent kind of.
Oh, it's a good one. Yeah.
So they were all supposed to be magnetic. I got the whole magnetic thing from Warhammer because you magnetize your pieces in Warhammer so you can swap out weapons easily.
Gotcha.
And so I at first magnetized all these figures and the Snail Wars figures, and bro, I would put them in the bubble. And I glued the bubble. The bubble's not meant to come off. I mean, you could take it off, but it's gonna destroy the graphic a little bit. Yeah. But I went to go sell my first one, and he was in pieces. I'm like, what the hell? The magnets were not strong enough to even shake it up just a little bit, and they were all over the place. So, I literally had to painstakingly. I think I had like 14 or 15 of them. I had to open every single one up. I have plenty of stickers, so I was like, I'll just make new backer stickers. That's fine. And just slap them on there. But I had to open all of them up and take all the magnets out, super glue and green stuff every joint as much as I could, and then put them in there and hope for the best. So,
yeah, I mean, you know what? I didn't even realize it was articulated until you said something, and you can kind of see the magnets in there.
They used to work, they used to move. I had the idea for it to move, but yeah, it wasn't going to ship ever. Not like that.
Yeah.
So you live and you learn for sure, man.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. Especially with the magnets and stuff, dude. So back up real quick, man. You said Warhammer. I am not familiar with Warhammer at all. I mean, I am when I see them and just talking about them. I never collected them. I don't own any personally. You mentioned something that caught my attention, though. You said they have magnetic articulation on those.
a lot of customizers or hobbyists, the guys that play the game, they will magnetize their arms or their heads or their weapons, so that way you can knock it off during war, because you can like they can get shot up or destroyed, or you can swap them out when you're running specific point armies. So like some weapons cost way more points than other weapons, and if you're at like a specific set point amount, then you can't rock certain weapons, so you take it off and you swap it with something else. And the magnetization is supposed to be just for quick, on the fly customizing. So
gotcha. And how long has Warhammer been around?
Man, since the 80s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect answer. So
maybe 70s. I might be wrong. It might be 70s, like late 70s.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So what I'm getting at is something that if anybody's been watching the show for any certain amount of time, man, there's a lot of people that lay claim to magnetic articulation, right? It seems like such an easy concept to me where, like, yeah, that's a great idea. All I'm saying is that idea has probably been around for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
What you're saying now, Warhammer was using it, or people that collect Warhammer were using it back in the 70s and possibly 80s. Which honestly, bro, like, I'm not tooting my own horn. That proves my point that nobody around here created magnetic articulation.
No.
I mean, that's a very
absolutely not
claim to, but
because I didn't get that idea from the community at all. I got that from Warhammer. So yeah.
Straight up. Abe says, say it again louder. And yes, dude, I don't know why you would lay claim to something like that. I'm not saying anybody here or anybody in the chat has done that, but I think everybody knows that there are artists out there who say that was kind of like their original thing. And man, I just, sometimes you got to call BS and you're just like, whatever. You think you originated it. That's fine. So anyway, Snail Wars, this is a sick piece, man. So we're going to give that dude away. What about this one? Dude, you went all out, even with the box on this one. Howard's Shiny Gem Furbies. Now, this is from the Furby show that Toys on Tap put on. Tell me about this. No, it's not. I wasn't lucky enough, and I didn't know Abe at the time to put that in the show. Dude, that is
I had just made it. Man. I had just made it right before I even heard about the show. And this was like before Abe and I were buddies. So I was like, I just missed it.
That's so funny, dude. My bad on that. And I saw that, cool. And I thought, I've never really seen anybody else make a Furby like that. So I just figured, like, oh, that's definitely from the Furby show.
Uncut Gems with Adam Sandler, man. Just watch the movie. It's crazy.
It is. It's a great movie.
Yeah.
Great movie, dude. So you went out, you went all out, like I said, on the packaging, even on this too. So this is all original work from you here.
Yep, all hand drawn, all the digital stuff, and in my style, and then printed out a crap ton of stickers and decorated the box. I specifically bought the box, like kind of like gift boxes or / like jewelry store boxes, and then even use like tissue paper in there, and then put them in there. Now I had thoughts of like actually putting like a chain on it. I'm like, bro, this is getting too expensive, and I'm not selling these for very much money, and so I did not add the actual chain to it, but it's the Furby, and he's all gemmed out, man.
That's awesome, dude. And then you there you go. Dirty Yeti on the bottom there.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. So that we'll give that one away too. The last dude that we got. Tell me about this guy.
Little Fox.
Little Fox.
So they're supposed to. It's a play on the Fisher Price Little People.
Yeah.
And that's like pretty much just a straight boot from that toy line for little kids, but that's all resin. And nice. Like the firefighter was pretty cool, and I kind of like made them like call them little fucks because they're like little gangster dudes, like little dudes that were like troublemakers. So I had like that dude with like a gold chain on, and then has a gold tooth.
Awesome.
Yeah, I sold a few of those, and then I had like different characters as well. So there's other ones. I have a couple more floating around here, but yeah.
Nice. Those are sick, man. And then, of course, we got some Dirty Yeti stickers. Those are going to be going with every package that goes out. Remember, get over to dirtyyeti.com. T-shirts, sweatshirts, art pieces, toys. Get in there and check it out. What do you say, man? You ready to give some of this stuff away?
Let's do it.
Let's do it, man. It looks like we got up to I'm going to share the screen here real quick.
And if Stormy goes on, man, I know he wants a piece of mine. I hopefully Stormico will win one. I told him he might. I said Brian might do multiples. I don't know.
I absolutely will. You know this. Let's see here. Let's get over to the number picker. Let's see how many we got this week. This week we got 26. Not bad. Not bad. 26. All right. First one. Let's do this. First one. All right. Let's do the little fucks first. Little fucks piece from Dirty Yeti. Coming up. Good luck, everybody. Here we go. Look at that. Adrift slightly. The last entrance in there, 26. So adrift slightly. Congratulations. Now, if I remember correctly, I believe, let's see. For this one, I think adrift slightly, I think that's Cameron. Cameron lives up in Canada. So that will be going up to Canada. We were talking before the show, man, and that's one thing that I really like about these giveaways is getting them out to other countries, man. Sometimes it's not the easiest thing to get stuff out there for price-wise or shipping or something like that. But Cameron, bam, little fucks coming your way. Awesome.
Congrats.
Let's see here. So let's remove 26. Bam. All right, we're going to do another one. Let's just jump into another one right now. Bam. All right, next one. We're going to do the Howard Shiny Gem Furby. Coming up next. Good luck, everybody. Remember, dirtyyeti.com. Get in there, get you some gear. If you have custom pieces that you want painted, hit up Dirty Yeti. Very simple. Send them in. Number 15. Who is number 15 this week? Number 15 goes to, look at that, man. Gray Skull Toys. You say the name, and boom, there he is. That's awesome for him. Gray Skull Toys. Congratulations, man. I don't believe Gray Skull Toys, if you are watching, please send me your address. I will hit you up with a message after the show. That is going to be Gray Skull Toys. Awesome. Does anybody know where Gray Skull Toys is? Is Gray Skull Toys in Australia or is it United States? Somebody let me know. I can't remember. For the last one that we're going to do, man, we're going to do the Luke Leaf slider. Again, this was Dirty Yeti's first carded resin piece. It is articulated. It is sealed in the bubble, so you won't be taking that one out, but it's a great display piece. Really solid backer. Nice. Great colors, great graphics. Looks great. All right. And do one more here. Let's see. Let's remove number 15. All right. And one more. All right. Last one, everybody, for Luke Leaf Slider. Carded figure by Dirty Yeti. DirtyYeti.com. Get in there. Make sure you watch the Sewer Showdown show, the ETC Space Squatch show. Dirty Yeti will have pieces in both of those shows. And the winner on this one is number 5. Number 5 is going to be, look at that, Ocular Rhombus.
Nice.
Ocular rhombus, man. Ocular rhombus. If you've been following along, man, with the assembly required stuff, Ocular rhombus is one of the premier kit bashing accounts out there, with his kit bashing style, his paint style, his soft goods. Man, they're freaking awesome. So, man, we're about 7:15, dude. That was a very, very fast hour and 15 minutes, dude. Is there
Yeah,
anything else you want to get out there, my man, before we hit the road?
I think we covered it all, brother.
Dude,
Thank you very much, man.
absolutely, dude. I just saw somebody say Michigan, and it just reminded me, dude. Michigan Wolverines, dude, national
Yeah,
champion.
yeah.
How
Yeah, we got a
about
good
that?
football team. Yeah.
Not bad. I mean, Jim Harbaugh, dude, I like the guy because he was 49ers coach, and I'm a 49ers fan, but he's going to San Diego now. But yeah, dude, I was actually very, very stoked to see somebody else besides Alabama win it this year, dude. I am so sick of them. Awesome. Well, right on, dude. I appreciate you coming on, man. You are welcome back anytime, dude. If there's anything that I can ever do to help promote or push whatever you got going on, dude, I am super stoked to see you in these next couple shows coming up. It should be a great time, dude. I wish you the best, man. Again, thanks for coming on. Everybody get in there, dirtyyeti.com. Make sure you follow him on IG. Get into the web store. Support this dude. Follow this dude. Share the work, man. That's what it's all about. Like you said, dude, you said just sharing the work. And maybe you can't buy everything in the world, but everybody can share something and just kind of spread the word. So I hope that's what everybody does. Dirty Yeti, man. Thanks a lot, Bill. I appreciate you, man.
Thank you, man.
You got it, dude. Have a fantastic evening.
You too, bro. Take care, man.
Right
Thank
on,
you.
man. You got
All
it.
right.
Boom. Dirty Yeti in the house, man. What a great freaking guest. You know, when I reached out to him a few weeks ago and said, "Hey, do you want to be on the show?" I was actually looking at accounts that I wasn't super familiar with. I had seen his name pop up here and there. I then kind of got in and thought, man, there's some really, really good work in there. Paint customizers, man. I mean, this show is not all about strictly toy makers, man. It's about a toy community and custom painters, people that are doing 3D printing, people that are sculpting, people that are casting, is all part of the community, man. So I appreciate you, Bill, for coming in. That was a really good interview, dude, of somebody who is just found another way into the community. And I hope everybody supports that, dude. Some really, really cool work. I definitely have some blanks that I'm going to be able to get over to him and hopefully paint. I think that is a really cool collab when you can get a blank piece from somebody and then send it to a customizer and have them paint it. A little bit of an unknown collab right there. And usually, I sometimes I don't even like to say anything until I post that piece that these two people came together and they don't realize that, they didn't really know that they were doing a collab with this other person, kind of an unadvertised collab. We talked about collabs heavily on the show probably 2 weeks ago. I think that was the giveaway question was collabs that you'd like to see. Think of all the cool stuff that Dirty Yeti could get into, man. He's already got the Last Bastion stuff, the Luchador stuff going. Really cool. It's some really exciting stuff going on from Dirty Yeti. So next on the list, Hannah Mary Marie. I make resin pieces and I've done 3D printing. So fun. Boom. All right. So there's another one. If you guys, Hannah Mary Marie, if you want to put your IG handle up there, if you do have an IG handle and you want to direct people over to that, go ahead and put that up there. That would be awesome. We're going to get into some new follows that we've done. Like I said, on the show in the past, we've had a segment where we just look at new accounts, and that used to be a weekly or kind of bi-weekly thing. Kind of been slacking off on that recently just because I'm trying to get the new format underway, but trying to dip back into it this week, and we'll see what we got here. I'm going to share my screen and we're going to get over to, let me get in here real quick because I screwed something up, and we'll get into some new accounts. All right. All right. Boom. All right, some new accounts. Here we go. Let's jump over to these. Again, some of these may not be new to everybody. Some of them are accounts that the show just started following, or I personally started following. It's crazy how some of these accounts get out there, and you guys know how it goes. Um, you know, you see somebody and they have a ton of followers or a ton of material that's out there, and you've never heard of them before. Maybe they got suggested to you. Maybe you heard their name. Maybe somebody else posted something from them. Uh, the fact of the matter is that word got back to you somehow and you started following them. Perfect example, Killer Napkins a few weeks ago. I only started following him a couple months ago, and he's got 66,000 followers and has been actually posting since like 2013. How is it that I just saw this guy's account and he does amazing resin work? Um, so just saying that they're out there. There's lots of good accounts out there. Let's take a look at what we got here for new accounts, new follows. Bam, that's what we got. Bam. There we go. So we're going to start looking right now. Dark Matter Toys. I don't know if you guys, I'm sure that a lot of you are following Dark Matter Toys, but they have some really super, super cool stuff. Yeah, Dark Matter Toys, man. If you look at kind of their body of work, there's some really, really cool stuff on there. There's a lot of lottery stuff on there. It was funny. One thing I forgot to circle back on with Dirty Yeti was the fact that the lottery, I was under the same impression when I won a lottery for the first time. Oh, hey, I won a piece. No, you don't win a piece. You win the opportunity to buy a piece, typically, is how that goes. So, that being said, look at all these dope pieces here, man. If you have the opportunity to win one of these or to purchase one of these, I would highly suggest you do so if you're in the market for something like that. But really cool work here, man. Like I said, some of you guys maybe already be following some of these accounts. This was a new one to me. Dark Matter Toys, super sick. 2,400 followers. That's a good one. Let's go to a different one. All right. There we go. All right, let's get to the next one. Boom. This is the next one. Laser Dungeon. If you guys are familiar with Laser Dungeon, I actually got this one. I followed this one from another account. And really cool stuff here. Laser Dungeon, if you are, that's weird. I already am following them. Laser Dungeon. There is some 3D printing going on there, some really cool resin work. Check that account out. That's another good one. Here's another one, Cosmic Evil Toys. Somebody had mentioned this at the beginning of the show. Yeah, Cosmic Evil, get in there. There's some really cool work from Cosmic Evil. King Gizzard is a line that they have. King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. Now, if Jazz Wizard was a part of that, it would be King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard with Jazz Wizard. That would be something. How about that? But these are all really cool, man. I've actually seen this piece before, and I can't remember where, but that was a really cool one. Again, King Gizzard is a line that Cosmic Evil Toys has. Wichita, Kansas, I believe is where they're from. Super cool. Man, it's a band. What's a band? I'm not sure what you guys are talking about there. Let me know um, what band you guys are talking about. I'm not familiar. Um, Verhool Arts. Now, this one is not toys. This one is prints, but they're really, really interesting prints. Verhool Arts. Make sure you get in there and follow that account. That's an interesting one. Some cool work in there. Resin Ain't Evil. This is another guy that's doing resin prints. This is the small TMNT van, but there is some other work on there too. Uh, that's pretty cool. Super, super mini on those. Yeah, those are sick. It's a whole little play set right there. Check that out. It's awesome. Sick. Very nice. Master Faker Toys. This was a new one to me. I had not seen this one. This is not from the Mickey Mouse show. This is just a piece that they did once the Mickey name became available. But Master Faker Toys, only 373 followers. So get in there and check that out. That's a good one. Master Faker Toys. How about this one right here? DF Toys, DF dot Toys. 124 followers, only 15 posts, but there is some work on there. Some of the stuff is a little bit older, but it looks like there is some current stuff on there. So let's check those out. Next one is Cadaverous Creatures. This is an account out of Colombia, actually. Some cool stuff going on there. It's been a long year full of discoveries, knowledge, and a lot of creation, and a lot of people who believe in this project. From Cadavers, we wish you a happy 2024 full of prosperity and abundance. So take a look at that one. That's another small account, 219 followers, only 32 posts. But that being said, there is some cool work going on there too. That's a cool little Quasimodo piece. Very nice. Next one. This one is super cool, man. So I'm going to have this dude on the show at some point. This is Monster Bloodbath. And I actually met Monster Bloodbath at Assembly Required. Super cool guy. He's actually from Philly. He's doing his own vinyl, but look at the marble on that is super cool. I have one that's very similar to that. But Monster Bloodbath out of Philly doing their own vinyl. Super cool, man. Highly recommend that account. Definitely give him a follow. Again, that's Monster Bloodbath. $850 followers, so still a small one. This is actually Cherry Moth Cake is who this one is. It's under Ghost Free Hood, but it's Cherry Moth Cake is who this one is. Another really, really cool account. I saw these folks for the last 2 years. Yeah, dude. Pocket Salsa was saying that Monster Bloodbath, great dude. Yeah, he is a really good dude. But Cherry Moth Cake, look at those pieces right there. They had a really, really good booth this year and last year, right next to Monster Bloodbath. There's Monster Bloodbath was right next to him, and there's some of his pieces that we just looked at. But Cherry Moth Cake, give them a look and give them a follow. They got some really cool stuff. It's a great little video they did too, man. I didn't realize. Look at all those guys in there. Nice. There's Cures Customs. Yeah, there's Matt. Nice. There's Grant. How about that? Very cool. Cherry Moth Cake. Give them a follow. Look, there's Magitarius. Magitarius had a great little table too. It was actually ran by Figure Fetish at Add assembly required. Next one, slow pour. So slow pour, I want to say that slow pour, I think found us during Resin Blood's recent cherry moth cake, living really close to Pocket Salsa. Very cool. But slow pour, I believe they came on right as around when we had the Resin Blood collection show, which was just in the last few weeks. But that's another good one. Man. Check out that account. Um, but yeah, you can tell it's another guy that's just getting started. 100 followers. Congratulations on hitting 100. Only 9 posts. Another one out of Kentucky. Kentucky represent, man. There is a lot of makers out of Kentucky. Bam. Slow pour. Check that one out. Riot Press Comics Toys. Check this one out. This one they do. It's another one. This Phantasm, Johnny Phantasm character. It's funny to me how sometimes you see this stuff and there's whole lines of these toys out, and I've never heard of them before. 74 posts, 663 followers. But just a, kind of a smaller account, but they've obviously been doing a lot of work. They're making their own cards. They have their own blisters. Several different figures. If you look on their page, there's a really good store that they have as well. So make sure you check that out. That's going to be on the bottom ticker there that you can see somewhere. But it's that's another really solid account with a lot of stuff in the store. And this one's Squatch Breath. So Squatch Breath, there's a lot of Ninja Turtles on there. And that's another one where, look at that, 21 posts, 73 followers. But you can tell just by what they've made so far, they're really getting the hang of it. And I don't know where this project is actually going. There's a bunch of different turtles on there. I know that they were experimenting with some paints and resins and whatnot. And it looks like just another account, another artist that's just kind of getting their feet wet with what we do here. And this last post, I think, was just a couple weeks ago. So they're definitely still out there. That's a good one. This is just from Luke Welch Sculpture. That's nothing new to anybody. Luke Welch is not new to anybody, but if he is, definitely take a look. Speaking of account sizes, man, I don't know if anybody wants to check Vomiting Droids and see if he hit 1,000. I saw either earlier today or yesterday he was at 999. So congrats to Vomit if he has hit that. All right, boom, done with that. 7:30. We got about 30 minutes left. We're going to look at 1, 2, 3. We're going to look at 4 pieces from assembly required from Figure Fetish, One Trick Pony, and then Kajiki Toys. And then we're going to give away at least one more thing tonight. So we've done 3 so far. We'll do at least one more coming up. So stick around for that. There at the bottom ticker, you'll see some of those accounts that we were going over. Cosmic Evil Toys, Rahul Arts, Resonate Easy, Master Faker Toys, DF Toys, Cadaverous Creatures, Monster Bloodbath, Cherry Moth Cake, Slow Pour, Riot Press Comics and Toys, Squatch Breath. Make sure that you follow all of those and give them some support. Next, all right, let's take a look at some. Here we go. We got some new work coming up. So this is the Oni from Figure Fetish. I did a post on this one the other day, and I brought it up when Dirty Yeti was on here. But what a sick character! There was probably, I don't know, maybe 3, 4, 5 different versions of this. Not all of them had the hands like this. I did see another one where it had some sort of like antlers or branches coming off the head. This one actually glows really hard, even though it's all white, which I really like. It glows green really, really hard. It is static. There is no articulation in it, but what a dope looking piece. Jason from Figure Fetish did tell me that he used the ET hands on that. And look how small and delicate those things are. But it came out great. Super sick looking piece. Love that one from Figure Fetish. Figure Fetish, if check him out. If you're not following him, definitely give him a call or give him a follow. He's been at the I actually met him at yeah, Squatch Breath. There you go. And there's Squatch Breath right there. That's an account that we just brought up. So make sure you give him a follow too. Um, yeah, Pocket Soul says one of his favorite snacks from AR. Those pieces were really cool. Jason's been around for a while, man. I've met him a couple times at different designer cons, and then he's been at Assembly Required the last 2 years. And not only is he running his table, man, he's had a table for Magitarius, selling a bunch of vinyl at Assembly Required, at least for the last 2 years that I've been there. So that's really cool. Next on the list, we got One Trick Pony. Man, One Trick Pony. Check out that Sting. Now, the Sting figure is something that I didn't have from One Trick Pony yet. I grabbed this one not only because of the paint, but because he glows like crazy. I don't know how well we're going to be able to see it here, but it looks like UV paint. And then the resin, at least some of the resin, is some really, really hard glow resin, which is sick. You know, like I said, you can't see this really in the light, besides the fact that you can see that he's green. But One Trick Pony, man. One Trick Pony, if you're not following him, it's quite possible you're living on another planet or under a rock. But check him out. Bam, that's a great one. One Trick Pony, boom. The other one from One Trick Pony is this 3.75. I love 3.75s in general. I love them from One Trick Pony. Look at that one. Magnetic articulated on the arms. Look at that cleanliness. Bam. Nice. All right. Great figure. Static legs. Nothing wrong with static legs. Just like we were talking about, static pieces are fine by me. Articulated, non-articulated, whatever you want. But the marble on that is really, really nice. That kind of lighter purple and black fade. Nothing got muddy in there. Real nice. Real nice piece from One Trick. Boom. And the last piece of the night. Yeah, man, that's Kajiki was just saying that those TIE Fighter pilots. I have a couple different ones, and I think the last one that I got was also at Assembly Required, but it has a cape on it. So imagine that, right? But then with a cape, like the cape adds so much just to that figure. Sick. That's a good one. Kajiki toys, man. So it's a quick story about this one. I got to Assembly Required this year, and Kajiki and I were staying in the same hotel. And he says, "Hey, come up to my room before we go over to the show. I have something for you." It's a piece that I had commented on a long time ago from his account. Yeah, the purple in that one, Pride and Prejudice, is really sweet. That's actually what caught my attention on this one was the light purple that kind of fades into the black, or vice versa, however you want to say it. But yeah, that's a really, really nice piece. Kajiki Toys, though, had made a whammy from the show Press Your Luck. If anybody's familiar with the old school game show Press Your Luck, I think they just actually tried to bring it back recently. I haven't watched the new one, but the old one was a staple in my house when I was younger. We watched a lot of game shows. We watched a lot of cooking shows. And the game shows that we watched, Press Your Luck was always one of them, man. And I always thought it was cool. The whammies were always cool. That was always a little, the little cartoon guy that runs across the screen when you hit him. But this piece right here is freaking phenomenal. I believe there's only 2 of these. Yeah, the purple in that figure intensifies that. I agree 100%. Check that out. From Kajiki Toys, that is a straight up masterpiece. Look at the backer. It looks like the game board for Press Your Luck. And boom, check this out. Oh my goodness. Truly one of the dopest things that anybody has ever given me. I was thrilled. I honestly, man, if I would have, yeah, there's only 2 and that's it. Dude, you're the best, man. If I would have left assembly required and not bought one thing, it would have been a hugely successful trip, because he gifted me this, dude. And this is a, God, the work is just so good. The cape, I have a couple other, or at least one other cape from Sergeant Kabuki Man from Kajiki that is just super, super good too. The magnet work on these. Look at that. Does it get much cleaner? Now, if you showed me this and said, who would you think that is? Just by the magnet work, I would probably say Lab 9. It's that good. They're big, they're sturdy, they are, honestly, can't get any cleaner than that. The clack. Original articulation on the arms. Old school Motu style. Magnetic on the waist. Bam. Clack. And then static legs, which again is, for me, ideal. Anybody who collects the old school Motu stuff or has anything done in that style, you know what a pain it is to get those guys to stand, because the bands and the legs kind of loosen up, and then they start, the legs start going this way and that way, and next thing you know, it's not going to stand. But that thing right there, look at the paint detail on there. $sign on the chest. What a great piece. Kajiki Toys. And again, the backer, that's a home run right there. Bam. Super cool. Look at Zymot. Look at Zymot, man. What are you doing, dude? This guy's stirring it up a little bit. That's okay. That's okay. You're right. You might think that. And, I'd say you're wrong. I'd say that those two are on completely different planets, probably not even in the same universe. Boom. Last thing we're going to do tonight. That's all I got for those. So, One Trick Pony, Figure Fetish, Kajiki Toys, especially Kajiki, man. That was an awesome gift, dude. Thank you very much. That was, like I said, dude, that is probably the dopest thing that I picked up at Assembly Required. And the fact that it was a gift from my man Kajiki. That guy, he's not my kind of guy. Kajiki, man, always good for a Seinfeld line. Love that guy. Last thing we're gonna do tonight, we're gonna spin one more time, and I think what we're gonna do for this one, how about a gift card from E2K? We'll do an E2K gift card for everybody tonight. And E2K Earth to Kentucky is the online shop. They actually have a storefront out there in northern Kentucky. Thank you, Kaj. Appreciate that, man. But Earth to Kentucky has a shop in northern Kentucky. If you haven't been to their shop, I think everybody that's in here has probably been there. I did see some new people in here tonight. So E2K. Or Earth to Kentucky. If you're looking for pieces from any of the artists that are in the chat tonight, or any artists in general in the indie toy scene, check out E2K. Also check out DKE Toys. You're going to find a lot of stuff in both of those places. The gift card we're going to give away tonight is going to be for Earth to Kentucky. Let's get that going right now. Number generator. All right, 26 is what we had in there tonight, I believe. Bam. All right, for the E2K $25 gift card, here we go. Number 18. Number 18 is Lynn's the Rat Boy. Boom. Lynn's the Rat Boy. You know what's funny is what's very cool is Lynn's the Rat Boy is in Australia. So that $25 gift card to Lynn's the Rat Boy, which is awesome, man. Number one, I don't have to ship anything to Australia. Number two is that Australia is going to be getting a piece from E2K from here in the States, which is cool. I think that's one thing that we always talk about. That is a really good benefit from E2K and DKE is that sometimes you don't have to pay the shipping. Now with Lynn's being in Australia, hopefully the gift card will just cover that shipping for him, and he can get a piece out there. So that's what we got for tonight. Next week, we got a super cool show. Sir Collect-A-Lot will be on the show next week. If you guys are into carded 3.75 figures, I would say some of the top people in the game out there who are just doing stuff that looks like it's right off the shelf. Dan O'Brown would be one. Sir Collect-A-Lot would be another one. The pieces that he has are phenomenal. Anyways, he'll be our guest next week. That'll be really cool. Thanks to Dirty Yeti for coming on the show tonight. Kajiki, One Trick, Figure Fetish. Thank you for being on tonight, man. You know what? We'll save that for next week. I was gonna say I have another giveaway, but we'll save that for next week, and we'll do a couple next week as well. Thanks for tuning in tonight. That was episode number 92. Episode 93 coming up next week, barreling towards episode 100 in a row. Episode 100 in a row. I'd be more than happy to take suggestions on what to do for that show. I don't know. I know it's 100 in a row, and we should do something. Anyways, thanks to the guests for coming on tonight. Everybody who provided pieces for tonight. You guys are great. I will see you next week. Have a great weekend.